What's up, guys? It's your girl, Poppy Britt, and welcome back to the Platicando con Poppy podcast. If it's your first time here, then welcome. If you've been here before, then thank you so much for making your way back and allowing space for me. I know it's been a while. I am actually very grateful that I have had so many people pushing me to keep uploading and asking me where I've been. I've had, as of recently, more and more people being like, come on, girl, when are you gonna post? Come on. I'm I appreciate the people that get on my ass about it because it is something that I want to prioritize. However, with moving, it's just been a little bit hard. I've been working way more just because, girl, I'm by myself now, so I'm not splitting bills with anyone, which means I gotta work double. I also moved and then immediately got sick. My nephew got me sick when they were helping me move, and so I spent a week and a half super sick and still working a lot. And then I've also just been trying to prioritize getting settled in. I have been trying to slowly organize everything, put furniture together, put everything together, get everything cleaned, and just make sure that it just feels like home for me, because I just have been looking forward to this moment for a very long time. So I don't know, the sooner it feels like home to me, the better. And it does feel like home. I really love this space, and I really am so happy to be just finally in my own space. So when I say that I am finally living alone, it just means that I'm no longer with a roommate. I have been living by myself, not with my parents, basically since I was 17. I moved out right after high school and I went to college, and I lived in the dorms for 2 years, and then I lived with some of my sorority sisters after that. So I have been on my own since I was 17. However, this is the first time in my life that I am living completely by myself. Part of me kind of felt a little bit silly because I'm okay, it's just a cute little studio, and here I am minimizing it again, but I'm very good at minimizing my accomplishments, and I kind of made myself feel kind of stupid for being excited. I'm girl, it's literally just a stupid little studio. There's people out here with people your age, especially with fucking houses and real estate and all this shit. But then for me, I was I had to sit down and just be you know what, an accomplishment is an accomplishment, a win is a win. I've been talking to people about my move for a while, especially my girls on TikTok. If you watch me on TikTok, then I've been talking about it for months, and I've even mentioned on there that I have manifested this for myself for many, 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 many years, back to when I was in high school, when I was just a little teenager and just felt super misunderstood. And I know if I go back and read through my little diaries and my notebooks that I would write in, I know that there was times where I would write letters to my future self, or just write about how I dreamed of just finally having a safe space and a space to call my own, even if it was just a tiny little, I remember I would write even if it's just a tiny little room, I don't ask for much, I just want a space where I feel happy and healthy, and where I feel I'm allowed to grow, because a lot of times in my household I just felt very misunderstood. I've always said I'm the black sheep of the family. I am the only one with tattoos. I'm the only one that's gone to college. Well, not anymore. My little cousin's now in college. God bless her soul. But at that time, I was the first one to move out without being married, and to move out to a different city on my own. I like to go out. I like to drink. I dress kind of not as modest as most people, but I don't know, a lot of the things about me are very conflicting to what I grew up in, because my parents are very, like I said, they're very conservative, very traditional. Somos del rancho, so the belief system is very traditional, and so I've gone against a lot of the norms. I always felt very misunderstood, and so I remember just dreaming of one day just working hard enough to have a space to call my own, where I could just completely just be and be happy and healthy without being questioned or yelled at, or feeling I'm doing too much or not doing enough. I just know how much work it took for me to get here. You know, where I come from, I grew up never having anything. Basically, I grew up in Mexico up until I was 7, and back then we lived out of one room. It was me, my mom, my brother. We lived out of one room in my grandma's house we had turned into our little living space. That was basically like a little kitchen, our beds, like a little studio basically within a tiny little room. It's half of where I live at now, and that's what we called home. And we never really had a house up until like I was around 5. That's when my dad built us our nice little humble adobe house. I remember it when I was growing up, and for me it was this big amazing house. And I always talk about when like I dream of going back to Mexico and just seeing the house I grew up in. A couple years ago I actually saw it for the first time. My little brother went to Mexico, and he never grew up in that house, but he went back and visited and sent me pictures and videos, and just seeing like how humble it really was. It really brings things into perspective, and so that's why I try not to downplay it, because seeing where I came from and seeing where I'm at now, like it really does mean a lot. Like I remember even being in Mexico and thinking about like, oh my God, I dream of the day to be able to live in the United States and to have my own car and to have a job and be independent. And I dreamed and dreamed of living downtown. And I mean, I've been living downtown for the last 2 years, but I mean, still being able to have a beautiful little apartment to call my own still in that area, even when I'm by myself, really does mean a lot. And so I've had to give myself some credit and allow myself grace, because I have to constantly remind myself that like I got it tattooed for a reason, but like todo su tiempo, you know. I have this random fear that pops up every time I get home, that I'm gonna get here and everything's gonna be gone. And I have that feeling every single time I get home. And I know it just comes from that like place of lack or place of not ever really having something to call my own. I remember there were times where we would live with my aunts or with my uncles, and they would throw it in our face that we were living with them. So finally being able to have a space to call my own really means a lot, because I remember growing up I really hated and was so embarrassed, because first of all, we lived in an apartment, but second of all, I shared a room with my brother. And it was so embarrassing to me, because I remember growing up, all the girls had their own cute little rooms and had them decorated the way that they wanted, and had their bed sheets whatever color they wanted, and their sábanas, and everything was like the way they wanted, and it was super girly and super cute. And I could never do that, because not only could we not afford decorations, all of our furniture was hand-me-down furniture. Like we really kind of put together a home from all the different pieces of things that people would give us. I always just dreamed of having that, like, you know, Hannah Montana kind of room, like, or having, you know, the rooms of the girls that I saw in on Disney Channel and stuff. And for the first time ever, I've had the ability to make this space my own, hanging art up of the things that I love. And I have little pieces of the people and the things that I love everywhere. I have my degree that I'm super proud of. It's just everywhere I look, I see inspiration, and I see the work that it's taken to create this for myself. So I've just allowed myself to kind of soak that in and given myself space to be happy and to see the lessons in literally everything, and to also just be grateful for everything that I have. It's also been a testament to the growth that I've made as a person and the growth that I've had with my family. I realized that this last time I moved, or when I was moving here, meant a lot to me too, just because my family and I have had an ongoing battle about me moving back home for years. My parents have always been against, or more not against, but they've always been scared of me living on my own. After they were very scared of me moving to Fort Collins from Greeley for college when I was 17, and they always begged, even to this day, have been always begged me to just move back home, to save money, to do what is, you know, kind of normal for girls like me, like being Latina, first gen, like you live at your parents' house until you're married. And so it's always been an ongoing battle, but I think this has finally shown them that I'm able to provide for myself and that I'm good, you know. So I've been reflecting a lot about that too, and just reflecting on the fact that we've had some really, really nasty fights about basically every time I've moved has been really ugly, and a really ugly fight, especially with my dad. And it has never been a pleasant moving experience, just because I've had to learn that my dad doesn't know how to correctly express himself. And so when he is upset that I'm not moving back home, or saying hurtful things in regards to where I choose to live, or what I choose to do with my living situation, I understand that a lot of it comes from him being scared for me and not being able to protect me. The last time was the ugliest, and for the people that know, they know it got really, really ugly. And I remember that after he was done helping me move, I just sat in my apartment and I just cried because he said some fucked up shit. And even though I am an adult, I'm still my parents' child. And so hearing him say those things really hurt a lot. And it took a lot of time for me to kind of sit back and reflect on the fact that he was saying them out of fear. He was basically telling me, like, you're going to end up homeless within a year, especially because I was living downtown, because it's expensive. But I was like, Dad, like, I got it. And so showing him that 2 years later, like, I was able to do it. I was able to take care of myself. I was safe. Really, I feel like kind of showed him that I can hold my own, and prove to him that I am capable, and that he raised someone that can hold her own, basically. And so this time around, moving was a completely different experience, and it showed me how blessed I really am. I had so many people offering to help me move, but I'm blessed and grateful enough to say that my brother and his family, my cuñada and my 2 little nephews came, and my parents, my dad, my little sister, my mom came and helped me. And so I just realized, like, even just as we were coming up the elevator, I was like, I have this little army that I know no matter what is never gonna fail me. Like, even when they don't completely agree with what I'm choosing to do or anything, my family still shows up. And so I'm very grateful for that. And just seeing them actually be excited, and, you know, having my first meal here with my family. We ordered pizza and we sat on the ground and, you know, just kind of took it all in. But it was just so nice to see how much support I had this time around, just seeing the comparison from the last time I moved to this time. And it just kind of healed, like, a little part of me, like that little part of me that just seeked my dad's approval this whole time. And just being able to actually share this space for with my family meant a lot. My mom hadn't ever been to my other apartments. Neither had my little sister. And even my little sister was, like, so excited. She draws me these, my little sister's 6, so she draws me these little drawings all the time. And she didn't realize that, like, I actually bring them home and put them up. And so she saw them in my apartment and her eyes lit up. And just having those moments has meant a lot. And I have truly appreciated, like, every single aspect of this move, because moving can be such a pain in the ass, but I've been trying to see just, like, the positives and allow room for new things to kind of flourish and come in, and allow myself to receive, because I've always been someone that isn't good at receiving stuff. Even growing up, I remember my parents wouldn't allow me to, like, accept things from people. Like, if someone was trying to give me $10, $15, or give me this or give me that, they would be like, no, don't take it. So I always just kind of never really accepted gifts from people. And I've realized that not everyone has bad intentions, and then there are people that are genuinely just excited for me, that genuinely want to support me, that want to show up for me, and that are happy to show up for me, and that won't throw it back in my face, which is what I'm usually used to. So just allowing myself to receive and being proud of myself and recognizing that it is also a reflection of my character and the relationships that I have worked on cultivating with people, and showing that good karma does exist and that the seeds that I plant can grow, and that all of the things that I'm receiving, everything good that's coming my way, are things that I fully deserve because I've invested the time, energy, effort, work, everything that I've needed to in order to cultivate a space where I'm able and willing to receive, and not feeling guilty when things come to me with ease. That's another thing that I've had to learn. I have had to learn every single lesson in my entire life the hard way, and I have had to work my ass off for everything that I have, and I feel like I've always had to do things times 10, especially with being undocumented. Like, things have always been twice as hard for some reason, and I've had to learn that not everything has to come the hard way, that not every lesson needs to be learned the hard way. I'm very grateful for this space, and I'm very excited for what it means for me as a person and how I'm going to grow within this space. And I'm very grateful that you guys have allowed that space for me. So many people have shown me so much love and have been so excited for me, and it really, really does mean a lot. I'm really excited to have the people that I love come in here. I'm very protective of my space and of my peace, and so the people that I've invited over are people that I actually genuinely care about, and I know that won't bring evil eye into my home. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know where I've been. I've just kind of been rolling with the punches, working, been trying to get over my cold, settle into this space, and kind of take everything in and learn what the universe is kind of teaching me along the way. I have been going a little bit crazy. I write every single thing down. I'm constantly posting quotes and stuff on my Instagram, but I also write a lot of my lessons and my thoughts and everything down all the time. I don't take anything for granted or in vain, and have been very adamant about also making time and space for just being grateful and really sitting with this space. But yeah, every single thing that goes through my head, I write down. So I've also been just a mess in general and trying to gather all my thoughts together. There's been so many lessons that I have been learning from the universe in different ways, and so I always write down all the quotes that kind of come up, and there's always patterns. I'm thinking of kind of doing a segment where I just do like lessons of the week and just kind of talk about little lessons that the universe teaches me, because like I said, I always try to find value in literally everything, and the little things in life, the quotes that I see, the numbers that I see, everything that I see, and just kind of see what the universe is trying to teach me. So I'm thinking of doing just a little segment where I even do just like one lesson of the week per podcast or whatever, even if it's not relating in particular to the podcast topic. But yeah, I am also hoping to make this a space. I'm also hoping to make this a space where I can finally invite people over and start having guests and stuff. But that also requires getting more equipment and learning how to edit all of that stuff. And between work and all the other shit just going on in my life, it seems like a lot of work. And obviously, excuses are the tools of the incompetent, but también igual todo su tiempo, so it'll come. But yeah, that's where I've been. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully, from here on out, we can be more consistent. I'm finally settled in. Ya no hay más excusas. I don't have any more trips planned. Nothing too crazy should be happening. I'm saying that now, but yeah, so hopefully from here on out we can be consistent. This is our new space. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching it, and I will see you in the next episode.